Now let me show you how to update an object. So here in our template, I'm going to add a button in front of each course. Button, let's call this update. And when we click this, we're going to call the update method of our component. And here we pass the course object. Now, back in our component, let's implement this method. Update course. Now, in order to update an object, first we need to get a reference to that object. So, back to our constructor, I'm going to apply the private keyword here because we're going to use this DB object in our update method. Now, back here, this.db, we're going to use the object method to get a reference to that object. Here we need to pass the location of that object. So /courses, and then we need to add the ID of that course. We can get that from course.$key property. Now look at the return type of this object method. It returns Firebase object observable. So earlier we looked at this method list, and you saw that this method returns a Firebase list observable. Now we're dealing with a Firebase object observable. Both these observables, as I told you before, extend the standard observable that comes with RxJS. They add additional methods to this observable. For example, here in Firebase object observable, we have remove, set, and update. We use set and update for updating an object. Let me start with the set method, and then we'll look at the update method. So we call set. Now this method replaces the value of our object with what we pass here. Here we can pass a primitive value or a complex object. Let's pass a primitive value. So I'm going to get the title of the course, which is stored in $value property, and append updated here. Let's have a look back in the browser. So I have 3 courses here. Update the first one. You can see the title is updated immediately. And if you look at our Firebase database, you can see the value of this object is also updated. Now here in the set method, we can also pass a complex object. So let me delete this and add an object. This object is going to have a couple of properties. Title, which I'm going to set to course.$value plus updated. And also price. I want to set this to $150. Now back in the browser. This time I'm going to update the second course. Okay, the title disappeared, but let's have a look at our database. So this is our object. Now the value of this object instead of a string is a complex object. We've got the price and title. The reason the title disappeared is because here in our interpolation, we are rendering either the $value property or the name property. So let me change this to title. Okay, the problem is fixed. So this is how the set method works. We also have the update method. What is their difference? The difference is that this update method only updates the properties we have listed here. If these properties exist, they will be updated. Otherwise, they're going to be added. For example, here I can change the title to new title. I'm not going to modify the price, so I'm going to delete this. Instead, I'm going to add a new property, is live, and set this to true. So only these 2 properties will be updated. Whereas if I use the set method, the value of the object would be replaced entirely with this object we pass here. Okay. Now, in real-world applications, if we are dealing with a complex object, let's say a user's profile. A user's profile might have multiple sections, and we might have different forms to modify each section. In that case, we really have to use the update method because we don't want the value of one form to replace the entire profile of a user. Otherwise, if you're working with a small object and all properties are going to be set together, it doesn't matter if you use the set method or the update method. So this is how we update objects in Firebase.